All right, here we are, deep in the NBA offseason, and the Golden State Warriors, well, they're kind of stuck in limbo. The front office is quiet, fans are restless, and at this point, it feels like we're all just waiting for something, anything, to break this deadlock. And yeah, the latest headline isn't about a blockbuster trade or a splashy free agent signing. It's about Cody Martin. That's right, we're talking Cody Martin possibly joining the Warriors. And if that's not a sign of how stagnant this offseason has been, I don't know what is. But hang on, before anyone rolls their eyes and writes this off, let's actually take a moment to break down why the Warriors are even entertaining this idea and how Cody Martin, of all people, might end up being a sneaky solid fit for a team that desperately needs to round out its roster. And of course, we've got yet another twist in the never-ending Jonathan Kuminga saga, because yeah, that's still dragging on too, and it's casting a huge shadow over everything the Warriors are trying to do right now. There's a lot to unpack. Now look, if I sound tired, it's because I'm tired. I mean, come on. The Warriors haven't made a single official move yet, and we're almost in September. It's not just exhausting from a fan standpoint. It's frustrating from a basketball perspective. This team has holes to fill. They've got rotational needs. They've got six open roster spots. That's unheard of at this point in the offseason. Other teams are refining their lineups, finalizing depth charts, figuring out rotations. Meanwhile, Golden State feels like they're still stuck at the starting line, just waiting for one domino, probably Kuminga, to fall. Now, let's be fair. The Warriors have made a few verbal agreements, technically, but they haven't signed anything yet. Nothing's on paper, and until those signatures are dry, nothing is guaranteed. Everything is operating under assumption. Rival execs, front offices, agents, everyone's just kind of nodding along like, yeah, those moves are happening eventually. It's like an entire offseason living in the gray zone. One of those supposed moves involves Al Horford. Yes, the veteran big man, reportedly set to join Golden State on the taxpayer mid-level exception, which comes out to just under $6 million. Rumor has it there's a player option attached to that deal, though that part seems to be coming more from the Boston side of things than from within the Warriors camp. Either way, Horford brings exactly what Golden State's been missing for a while. A stretch five who can space the floor and still give you solid defensive presence. Say what you will about his age, but this guy is a proven winner, a steady locker room presence, and the kind of front court depth this team sorely lacks. Then you've got DeAnthony Melton and Gary Payton too, both reportedly on track to sign one-year vet minimum deals worth about $2.3 million each. Solid depth, no doubt. But here's the kicker. Even with those three names in the fold, even assuming those deals get signed, sealed, and delivered, the Warriors still have 3 open roster spots. That's how behind they are. Now here's where things start to get really bizarre. The Warriors, as of now, have the most open roster spots in the entire NBA. And it's not even close. Most teams at this point are juggling 1 or 2 final pieces. The Warriors? They got a third of their roster still wide open. It's like they're frozen, unable to make any other moves until the Kuminga situation plays out. And look, we're going to get into that mess in a bit because it's turning into a full-blown saga. But for now, let's keep the focus on what's actually on the table. So the team might plug in Jonathan Kuminga as one of those remaining roster pieces, assuming he doesn't get moved. The 3 aforementioned signings would fill out 3 more spots. And maybe, one more goes to second-round pick Will Richard. He's a little more NBA-ready than their other second-rounder, Alex Chicote, who's expected to need more developmental time. Will Richard, on the other hand, just helped Florida win a national championship, logs serious college minutes, and already projects as a competent perimeter defender at the NBA level. He's still raw offensively, but in terms of body, mindset, and skill set, he looks ready to at least hold his own in a pro rotation. So where does Cody Martin fit in all of this? Jake Fisher recently reported that Martin is on the Warriors' radar as a bench target, and he's drawing interest from multiple playoff caliber teams. But Martin isn't in a rush. He's playing the long game, waiting to see if Golden State offers the best opportunity or if another more appealing fit opens up once training camps begin and rosters shake out a bit. That's the kind of patience you can afford when you've carved out a niche in the league as a defensive-minded, plug-and-play wing. And make no mistake, that's exactly what Cody Martin is. He's 29 years old, 6'6", with solid length, and he's coming off a pretty forgettable stint in Phoenix after getting traded from Charlotte. But let's not forget, the guy made a name for himself as a grinder on those Nevada college teams under Eric Musselman. Him and his twin brother Caleb were a problem in the NCAA tournament. And while Caleb's been more of a spark plug in the pros, Cody's carved out his own lane by embracing the dirty work. Tough defense, hustle plays, and a little bit of everything else. And here's the thing. Cody Martin's been stuck in NBA purgatory for most of his career. Charlotte wasn't winning anything. Phoenix, after trading for him, waived him almost immediately. But for a guy who was taken 36th overall back in the day, he's put together a respectable 6-year NBA career. That alone is impressive. Most players drafted in that range don't even make it past their rookie deals. Martin has, and he's still got juice in the tank. Now, statistically, he's not going to blow you away. 7 points per game, modest rebounding numbers, a couple of assists here and there, but he's capable. He's had seasons shooting near 38% from deep, and when healthy, he's the kind of guy who can guard 1 through 3 without being a liability. He's not going to take over a game, but that's not what the Warriors need right now. They need depth. They need defensive intensity off the bench. They need wing players who can stay in front of their man and hit an open 3 when matters. That's exactly what Cody Martin brings. Defensively, his metrics speak volumes. Last season with Charlotte, he posted a defensive LeBron rating of plus .79. Now for those unfamiliar, that's actually solid. The best defenders in the league usually hover around plus 3 or above. Martin ranked 99th overall across all positions in the NBA. That puts him roughly top 100 in defensive impact league-wide, and probably top 25 among wings. That's value. That's plug-in playability. Then there's Malcolm Brogdon. Super solid player. High IQ. Can run an offense. But again, more of a backcourt piece. The Warriors have enough of those. Brogdon's definitely more talented than Martin on paper, no doubt. But does he fit the Warriors' current needs? That's up for debate. Cody Martin, on the other hand, brings something simple. No-nonsense perimeter defense, positional versatility, and the willingness to do the little things. He's not flashy. He's not going to headline a press conference. But he's the kind of guy who can win you 8 minutes in a playoff game just by locking up the other team's hot hand. And for a Warriors team trying to squeeze the most out of whatever window they have left with Steph, Dre, and Clay, those 8 minutes matter. So yeah, I'm actually in favor of this move. I think Cody Martin could be a low-cost, high-value addition. Is he going to change the franchise? No, but he doesn't have to. He just has to play his role and do it better than the guy he's replacing. If the Warriors want to stabilize their wing rotation, Martin's not a bad place to start. And that brings us right back to the biggest elephant in the room, Jonathan Kuminga. This saga has now stretched across the entire summer, and it's showing no signs of resolution anytime soon. Every day that passes, every hour, the Warriors' offseason remains on hold because of one player's contract situation. It's wild to think that a player who just finished his 3rd season, a player who hasn't even made an all-star team, a player who still hasn't proven that he can be consistent over a full 82 games, is essentially holding the entire organization hostage. But that's exactly where we are. Now, for those of you who've somehow managed to tune out this whole thing, let's bring you up to speed. The Warriors have offered Kuminga a new 2-year contract worth $45 million. On the surface, that's a strong deal for a young player who hasn't completely broken out yet. But there's a catch. The offer includes a team option in the 2nd year and also requires Kuminga to waive a potential no-trade clause that would have been triggered under different terms. That's the sticking point. That's what Kuminga and his camp are pushing back on. From his perspective, it makes sense. The qualifying offer is sitting there, worth $7.9 million. If he signs that, he becomes an unrestricted free agent next summer. That gives him full control over his next move. No team option, no trade clauses, no strings attached, just freedom. And clearly, that freedom means more to him right now than the security of a 2-year deal. But from the Warriors' side, this is a disaster. They can't move forward. They can't finalize any signings. They can't fully lock in Horford, Melton, or GP2. And they definitely can't commit to new targets like Cody Martin or Malcolm Brogdon or Seth Curry. Not until they know where they stand with Kuminga, whether he's staying, whether he's leaving, or whether they're going to have to trade him before the season begins. That kind of limbo is the worst place to be in professional sports, especially when you're trying to retool around an aging core and squeeze out one more title run. What makes this even messier is the tone coming from Kuminga's camp. According to recent reports, Kuminga has made it clear behind closed doors he wants out. He's done. He doesn't want to be in Golden State. He doesn't want to continue being part of a system that, in his eyes, hasn't fully committed to his development. And that's not a rumor. That's a direct quote from sources close to the situation. He wants nothing to do with the Warriors anymore. Now, I get it. Kuminga feels like he's been stuck behind veterans. He feels like he's had a fight for every minute. He probably looks around the league and sees guys from his draft class getting full green lights and massive usage rates. He wants that. He wants to be the guy somewhere, not just another rotational piece next to Steph and Draymond. And he knows that's never going to happen in Golden State. But here's the problem. By digging in like this, he's hurting the team and himself. The Warriors are trying to build a competitive roster. They're trying to add the right mix of youth and experience. But they can't make the right moves if they don't know what role Kuminga will play next year. And from Kuminga's side, turning down a $45 million deal with a team option just to take a $7 million qualifying offer and hit the market as an unrestricted free agent next year. That's a huge risk. If he underperforms, or worse, if he gets injured, that next big contract might never come. But that's the gamble he's willing to take because ultimately he wants out. He wants to bet on himself. And while I can respect that mentality, I also have to call it for what it is. Incredibly risky and incredibly frustrating for everyone else involved. Especially when the Warriors have been operating all summer like the Kuminga domino would fall sooner rather than later. They passed on trades. They've passed on free agents. They've been saving cap space, roster spots, and flexibility, all in case they need to include Kuminga in a bigger move. And now, with September around the corner, they're still stuck waiting. So what are the options? Well, it's not looking great. The Warriors can keep pushing this same 2-year deal and hope Kuminga caves. But based on his current stance, that seems unlikely. They could try to renegotiate and give up the team option or tweak the terms to make it more favorable for the player. But that gives up leverage and sends a message that players can strong-arm their way out of contracts. Or, and this is the nuclear option, the Warriors could explore a sign-in trade before the qualifying offer expires on October 1st. That's the real deadline here. October 1st. That's when the qualifying offer vanishes. If nothing is done by then, Kuminga has to either sign a new deal with Golden State or walk into the season playing on the 1-year qualifying offer. And at that point, the team loses all long-term control and all leverage. So you better believe the front office wants this resolved well before then. The issue is, they've been saying that for weeks. First it was sometime in July. Then it was after free agency opens. Then it was mid-August at the latest. Now we're hearing, hopefully before Labor Day. And at this point, nobody believes those timelines anymore. Because we've heard the same thing over and over, just with new dates attached. It's the same script, just different deadlines. Meanwhile, fans are stuck refreshing Twitter. Players are in limbo. And the entire vibe around the team is tense. This is not how an off-season is supposed to go, especially not for a franchise that still considers itself a contender. You can't build continuity, chemistry, or a cohesive identity when one of your core young pieces is actively trying to leave and doing it in a way that stalls every other decision. Before we continue, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Dubs updates. Let's keep going. The Golden State Warriors, long regarded as one of the most stable and star-studded franchises in the NBA, may be on the brink of a seismic shakeup as whispers from inside the organization suggest a brewing storm between head coach Steve Kerr and one of the team's marquee stars. Sources close to the locker room claim that tensions have reached a boiling point, culminating in what some are describing as a public and highly emotional outburst from Kerr during a recent practice session. While the precise nature of the conflict remains shrouded in mystery, multiple insiders hint that disagreements over playing time, strategic decisions, and off-court conduct may have contributed to a rift that is now impossible to ignore. Fans and analysts alike have speculated endlessly about the Warriors' internal dynamics, often pointing to the delicate balance between maintaining championship-level performance and managing the egos and ambitions of superstar talent. In this latest chapter, the rumors suggest that Kerr's patience has reached a limit, prompting him to make a dramatic and unprecedented demand for the departure of a player whose impact on the court has been undeniable. If true, this development could represent one of the most shocking turns in the franchise's recent history, potentially reshaping the team's trajectory and altering the narrative surrounding the Warriors' locker room culture. The timing of Kerr's alleged demand has only fueled the speculation, as the Warriors find themselves navigating a season filled with highs and lows, injuries, and moments that test the resilience of both the coaching staff and the players. According to whispers from unnamed sources, the outburst reportedly occurred after a particularly tense film session, where Kerr was said to have expressed frustration over repeated lapses in defensive assignments and inconsistent effort during critical stretches of games. Those close to the situation insist that the issue goes far beyond standard coaching disagreements, touching on deeper frustrations about leadership, accountability, and a long-term vision for the team. The star player at the center of this controversy, whose identity remains a closely guarded secret, has been praised for electrifying performances that keep the Warriors competitive in tightly contested matchups, yet allegedly exhibits behavior that Kerr finds increasingly untenable in a structured team environment. Analysts observing the unfolding drama have noted that the balance between superstar influence and disciplined team dynamics is often a delicate one, with historical precedent suggesting that even the most successful organizations are not immune to internal friction. As the rumor mill churns, fans are left to wonder whether the team can navigate this potential upheaval without sacrificing cohesion, and whether Kerr's reputed ultimatum will spark a dramatic trade, benching, or restructuring that could reverberate throughout the league. Industry insiders have been quick to highlight that Steve Kerr's career as both a player and a coach has been defined by his composure and strategic acumen, making reports of his alleged outburst all the more striking and indicative of a situation that may have escalated beyond private discussions and measured interventions. Sources suggest that the intensity of Kerr's demand reflects a deep-seated concern over team chemistry and long-term success, hinting that he may be prioritizing culture and accountability over individual talent, no matter how celebrated. Within the Warriors' front office, speculation is rife that management is caught in a delicate balancing act, weighing the value of retaining a superstar against the risk of eroding morale among other key contributors who reportedly feel the tension in the locker room. The rumors also hint at behind-the-scenes negotiations and confidential meetings aimed at de-escalating the conflict, yet insiders suggest these efforts may have been insufficient in light of Kerr's reported ultimatum. Observers of the league have drawn parallels to other high-profile conflicts in NBA history, noting that publicized disagreements between coaching legends and elite talent often precede dramatic trades or restructurings, sometimes catalyzing periods of reinvention for storied franchises. While no official statements have been made, the persistent murmurs of discord underscore a narrative that continues to captivate fans and pundits, framing the Warriors' season not just as a series of games and statistics, but as a high-stakes drama where leadership, ego, and performance intersect in unpredictable ways. Adding further intrigue, social media chatter has amplified the speculation, with fans dissecting every sideline interaction, cryptic post, and interview soundbite for clues about the rumored tension. Observers have noted subtle shifts in team dynamics, from altered rotation patterns to changes in practice intensity, interpreting these nuances as possible indicators of friction between Kerr and the unnamed star. Even commentators and former players have weighed in, suggesting that the situation, if true, could have significant implications for team morale, on-court synergy, and the Warriors' championship aspirations. Within the locker room, sources hint that players are privately divided, with some expressing loyalty to Kerr's disciplined approach and others reportedly advocating for greater deference to superstar influence. The rumor has also sparked speculation about potential destinations for the player in question, with analysts projecting that trade talks could ignite a flurry of activity involving multiple contending teams seeking to capitalize on an unprecedented opportunity. While the Warriors' official channels remain silent, the buzz has reached a fever pitch, feeding a cycle of speculation, commentary, and debate that has taken on a life of its own. The unfolding drama, according to insiders, highlights the precarious nature of maintaining balance between coaching authority and player autonomy in an era where both influence and public perception hold extraordinary weight, raising questions about how the Warriors will navigate the next phase of their storied journey amid these swirling rumors. As the NBA world continues to monitor this developing story, the rumored conflict between Steve Kerr and his star player offers a rare glimpse into the complexities of managing elite talent in a championship-caliber environment. Sources suggest that the Warriors' front office is quietly exploring contingency plans while attempting to mediate tensions, emphasizing the potential need for creative solutions that preserve competitive advantage without sacrificing team culture. Stay updated exclusively with the latest Dub Nation news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep getting daily updates on the Warriors. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. Your input is essential for the Dubs community. Stay tuned for the next video.